Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. So I already did my top 10 favorite movies, my top 10 movies I like but everyone else seems to hate. So it's time for me to get out my hate. These are my top 10 most hated movies. Ooh, so much hate. So much hate. So before we get started, a couple rules. This isn't an awesomely bad movie list or whatever. These are my personally most despised movies. So along with that, these are only movies I've seen. So ones with bad reputations that I haven't seen, like Jack and Jill or Pixels, aren't on this list. Only ones that I have seen and I personally hate. I also tried to keep it to one per franchise and kind of some limits, as well as the actual ranking of this list is a little bit arbitrary because once I hate a movie, I just hate it. So I'm not going to list it. Except number one. Number one is my most hated movie. But let's get into the list.
Number 10, The Three Musketeers.
So I kept this one a little bit lower because I just recently saw it, but the only thing I kept thinking the entire movie is why? Why was this made? Why is Mila Jovovich in this? Why is the acting so bad? Why are there flying ships? Why is there sequel bait? Do they think they're getting another one of these? Who greenlit this? Why was this made? Why is this movie? Just why? Why Three Musketeers?
Number 9, Epic Movie.
So this one seems like, low-hanging fruit. But people my age remember, actually, Scary Movie 1 and 2 were pretty good, and Not Another Teen Movie is also very funny. And I feel like Epic Movie was the first one that really stopped being funny and just did references. And it didn't have like a storyline, it was just, hey, this was a thing, remember? Hey, this is a thing, you remember that? Remember this? Like, that's all it became, and the fact that this spawned multiple sequels makes it even worse. I'm so glad these movies are done, but Epic Movie was the beginning of a very, very quick downhill run of some very awful, awful movies. And yeah, this one is so bad. So bad.
My name is Harry Potter.
Aren't you a little old to still be a student here?
Nonsense. I am but 14.
That's a fake laugh.
It's real!
Totally fake.
That is the most real, authentic, hysterical laugh of my entire life.
Number 8, Batman and Robin.
So obviously everyone's already gone over this one, but it is a movie that killed a profitable movie genre altogether. Comic book movies were, very profitable before this, and now they're back to being profitable, but this killed comic book movies for like a year and a half. And so much is bad about it. The casting, the acting, the effects, the sets, the dialogue. Everything is wrong with this movie, and you can't even watch it ironically, because then it gets really boring. So it's not even so bad, it's good, it's just really bad. And it's, even as like a non-Batman fan, like you just don't know what this thing is gonna be. I would assume anyone even that's not a Batman fan would hate this movie. It's so much wrong with it, so much dumb. It's, everyone said so much about this already, but it's a really, really bad movie, and yeah, I hate it.
Number 7, The Happening.
So I wanted to limit this list to only one Shyamalan movie, because this whole list could be all Shyamalan movies if I really wanted to be. So I picked my most hated Shyamalan movie, The Happening. Everything is wrong with this movie. It's a really dumb plot line. All the acting is just awful. And this was like the height of Zooey Deschanel's like charisma before we got tired of her. And he's just sucked the life out of her. He sucked the life out of, Maki Mak. And just everyone is so dead-eyed and bland and boring in this. And then again, just the overall plot of this movie is so stupid. Plants are making people kill themselves. What? Why? This is such a dumb movie, and it's a slog to get through. It's really, really dumb. My most hated Shyamalan movie, and that's saying a lot.
What? No.
Number 6, Spider-Man 3.
So when your parents say, "I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed." And that's like so much worse. Well, Spider-Man 3, I'm not mad at you, I'm just disappointed. It set up so much, and it set up so well in Spider-Man 2, and just failed in 3, and it's obvious that all the actors were going to quit after this movie, so they jammed like 2 or 3 movies worth of events into one movie, cramming it so full, so you have too many villains, too many plot lines, and then too many stupid plot lines, and then you have to rush through them, and emo Peter Parker and dancing Peter Parker is awful, and, hiring Topher Grace as Eddie Brock is an awful idea. It's just really bad, and then the dialogue at the end really feels like they just stopped giving a shit and they just threw whatever onto a page. Let's get this movie done with, just get it over and get it out in the theaters, and it feels like that, and it's really, really bad. It killed an incredibly profitable franchise, and I don't know if it's ever totally going to recover, but Spider-Man 3, I'm very disappointed.
Now dig on this.
What the hell was that?
Number 5, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
So I can let the alien part of this movie go. But the CG is awful all through this movie, and Shia LaDouche is at his douchiness in this movie, and the fact that they tied it so much to the first Indiana Jones kind of broke it for me, because the one thing I liked about the Indiana Jones movies is they were meant to be like serials, and there were episodes you might have missed because you didn't go to the movies every week, kind of back when in the day. So I like the fact that they'd be like, oh, this is Indiana Jones' best friend, and you just accept it because it probably happened in a previous installment that you missed. But then they really made this one like a sequel, and it really kind of broke what worked so well in Indiana Jones and all the other stuff. I mean, again, I can let the aliens go, but everything else in this movie is just a pain. And I know it's even... the love of the character hurts it even more for me, but just in a movie in general, this is really, really, really bad. And yeah, hopefully the new one that they're gonna do is better, but this one was awful, just awful.
Grab the snake! I'm calling it that! It's a snake, what do you want me to call it? Say rope! What? Say grab the rope! Grab the rope!
Number 4, Star Wars, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
So everyone gives the prequels a lot of crap, and rightfully so. They're all really bad, but I think 2 is the pinnacle of the awful prequels. I mean, 1 had the Duel of the Fates song, and, you know, the battle with Darth Maul, and even the pod racing is pretty cool. 3, you know, had the, you know, start of Darth Vader, had the lightsaber battle with Obi-Wan at the end, some really awesome Obi-Wan moments in that. So it, you know, was pretty alright. This one, there's nothing I like about this. The dialogue is shitty. The chemistry between the two love interests is awful. This is Hayden Christensen at his whiniest. And it's just a pain to get through. And I, like a moron, watch every Star Wars movie before a new one comes out. So I end up watching this movie once a year. I don't know why, but it doesn't get any better. It is still boring and stupid. And the battle at the end really doesn't lead up to anything either. It's just the worst Star Wars movie. Well, I mean, there's some others, but out of the main live-action Star Wars movies, this is the worst one. I absolutely hate it. I cannot stand it.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Oh, jeez, he's crying. Hey, come on, don't do that. Just...
Number 3, Fan for Stick.
So I've talked about this one a lot in previous episodes, as well as the review of it, and it is a piece of shit. Obviously, there's all the studio interference in the back end, but the result in the end is just a mess of a movie. The, you know, character designs are a mess. The effects are a mess. The tonal shifts are a mess. The dialogue is a mess. This whole thing is just a freaking mess. And it hurts me so much because I am a big Fantastic Four fan, and I can't get a good Fantastic Four movie, apparently. But this one is just a rotten turd of a movie. And I'd have to say, for a big budget, released in theaters comic book movie, it is the worst comic book movie ever. For having a big budget and being released in theaters, it is the worst. I mean, there are some that are even worse than this, but they were like made for TV or TV shows or weren't released. But fully released in theaters, big budget, this is a piece of shit. I can't stand it. I warn everyone that tells me they're going to watch it that you're not going to like it. In most movies, I say, like, hey, you should check it out anyways. Judge for yourself if you like it or not. No, don't watch Fan 4 Stick. It's a piece of shit. Just, I can't say it enough. It is awful. Awful movie.
It's fantastic.
Say that again?
It's fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Number 2, The Twilight Saga, New Moon.
So Twilight might seem like low-hanging fruit once again, but after the whole saga came out, I went ahead and I was like, okay, I'll give it its fair day in court. I'm going to watch the saga and, give it a fair shake. And New Moon has the distinct personality of the only movie I have started but have never finished. So when I started watching this saga, I slogged through the first one, and I was like, that was really bad, but people say they're getting better, so let's get through this. I can do it. I've gotten through bad movies. Let's do it. But halfway through New Moon, and I'm just like, this isn't getting any better. This is actually getting worse. I'm out. I'm done. And I haven't gone back. These are really bad. What everyone says about Twilight is true. The dialogue is awful. The love is awful. The chemistry is awful. The effects even are awful. Why did this make so much money? It's really, really dumb. Really just awful. I know I'm stuck on that word, but it's awful. I could not think of a redeeming fact of this the 2.5 or 1.5 movies I saw of this. I don't understand why this is a thing. Now, before I get to my number one pick, how about some honorable mentions?
Number 1, Sex and the City 2.
So let me tell you something about this movie. I am actually a Sex and the City fan. I watched the entire series and I enjoyed it. Now, the first movie is bad, but in a fan sense. As an independent, regular movie, it does its job, it's alright. But for a fan, the fact that Carrie picked Mr. Big over Aiden is still total bullshit. Why would she pick Mr. Big? Mr. Big's been nothing but a piece of shit to her.
2 hours later.
Sorry. Had to get that out. Anyways, so the first one fails as a fan, for me at least. The second one fails completely as a movie. Like, I didn't have a lot of expectations going into this, but I had some, I guess. But I had expectations there'd be a plot. But up until like an hour and a half into the movie, there is no real plot. It's just girls from the city in the Middle East. What kind of shenanigans are they gonna get into? Ugh. And it's just like scenelets of misunderstandings with Samantha because she's uber sexual, but we can't be sexual in the Middle East. Get the freaking joke? You get it? You get the joke? This movie is infuriating to me. It's so bad, and it's such a shit way to end such a good series. And god damn it, it's just awful. I mean, yeah, again, there's no plot until like an hour into the movie, and even then the plot is razor thin. This movie is pain for me to even talk about. I absolutely hate this movie so much. I can't even say it enough, but I hate this movie. Any kind of like girl power or feminism they built up through an entire, 8 seasons of a show, just smashed to bits in the first one, and this movie is just dancing on the grave. And it's a piece of shit.
Our friend is getting married.
I never thought I'd see this day.
You and me both. Hell just froze over.
What's the name?
Oh, Blatch. It's Stanford Blatch.
Actually, I think they're registered under both names.
Her best gay friend is marrying my best gay friend.
That's wonderful.
I know.
Let me get the registry. Thanks.
Oh God! Why didn't anybody tell me? Oh my God! My insides are on fire!
So those are my top 10 most hated movies. What movies do you hate that I missed? What is on my list that you actually enjoy? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up. And if this countdown is one of your top 10 most hated countdowns, hit that thumbs up still. Haha, see what I did there? Anyways, I'm Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. Until next time, hold on to your hold slots.